Tonight on the Underground Nation podcast, we're sitting down with a woman who believes music can do more than entertain. It can bring people together and help them feel heard. Cora Perry is the singer, songwriter, and guitarist behind the award-winning Canadian rock band, The Truth Untold. After years of touring and hearing women share similar stories of discrimination, harassment, and domestic abuse, Rose decided it was time to do something meaningful with those stories. That idea became Warrior Women, a 6-city concert series bringing together female-fronted bands, inspiring speakers, women-owned businesses, and organizations that support women and children escaping abuse. Tonight, we're learning what inspired the movement, what Rose hopes it can accomplish, and how one concert series could help create real change. Leading the conversation are your host with the ghost, Bounceball Boogie, and the red-headed flame herself, Feral Minx. Cora Perry is stepping into the hot seat of the Underground Nation podcast in support of Warrior Women. Let's get into it.
What happens when the stage becomes more than a place to perform? What happens when the amps get louder, the stories get braver, and an entire community decides that silence is no longer acceptable? Welcome back to the Underground Nation podcast. I'm your host with the ghost of Bounceball Boogie. And tonight, the hot seat is becoming a seat of strength, survival, and serious rock and roll rebellion.
And I'm the red-headed flame of chaos, Feral Minx. Tonight's guest has been touring Canada and the United States since she was a teenager. She has commanded stages in front of more than 500,000 people and opened for acts including Big Sugar, Smash Mouth, Saliva, Platinum Blonde, and the Killjoys. But this time, she isn't hitting the road only to play music. She's using that road to create change.
After hearing far too many women in music share similar stories of discrimination, harassment, and domestic abuse, and after surviving her own painful experiences, she decided those stories could no longer remain hidden behind closed doors. That decision gave birth to Warrior Women, a groundbreaking 6-city concert and empowerment series uniting 24 female-fronted bands, 6 inspiring speakers, and 21 women-owned and operated businesses.
Warrior Women is transforming local music venues into spaces of solidarity while raising money and awareness for Yellow Brick House, an organization helping women and children escape domestic violence and rebuild their lives. On Saturday, October 3rd, Warrior Women storms the Painted Lady in Toronto for an evening of music, empowerment, community, and unapologetic female power.
So turn up the volume, open your mind, and prepare to hear the truth behind the movements. Cora Perry, welcome to the hot seat of the Underground Nation podcast. How you doing, Rose? Welcome in.
That was a hell of an introduction. I don't know if I can follow that, but thank you so much.
Well, you're doing amazing work out there, and you deserve an amazing intro. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today from your busy touring schedule.
I appreciate that, and I'm really excited to be here, so thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Very welcome. Rose, you've been performing and touring since you were a teenager. When you began planning this year's tour, what made you realize that simply booking another series of concerts was no longer enough?
I mean, that's a great question. I have been touring for a good chunk of my life, and I do love being able to play a lot of local shows and kind of connect with our local community here in Southwestern Ontario, where we're kind of formed as a band. So each one of my band members is actually from a different city, which makes things interesting and a little bit convoluted. So we don't really have a distinct home base, but every summer we kind of devote a lot of our touring season to the States, actually. And we love our American brethren. We love being able to rock and roll in the US of A. But this year when we were planning our tour, we're like, you know what, we'd like to be able to hit up some of our hometown support as well. But we didn't want to just, as I said, focus on just playing rock and roll. We wanted to do rock and roll with a cause. And I started thinking about my own experiences. I'm about 2 years out now of a really toxic relationship that obviously transformed my life in a lot of ways, for better or for worse, but happy to be on the other side of it. And in speaking with a lot of my female-fronted colleagues and female-fronted bands, I was hearing similar stories too. And I'm like, you know what? This would be a good idea for a concert series. I'm going to see what kind of interest I can gauge among, my colleagues and my peers. And finding the bands was the easiest part. I had to turn away people because I had too many bands and not enough cities and not enough venues. So the idea, just kind of planted a seed and it just started taking off and really gaining traction. And I'm like, I think there's something there. And at first I was thinking, should I just do my hometown, maybe the hometown of some of my other band members? But the more I started reaching out to people and talking about the idea, the more people wanted to get involved. And Warrior Women, the 6-city concert series, was born.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on getting into a better space to be able to create such a movement.
For sure. It definitely was a long time coming, but that's kind of one of the challenges about being in those sort of relationships, is that they are just as hard to get out of as they are for you to get manipulated into them. And you don't always see it coming. And it's really, really challenging because you feel like even though you know you have support external of that, you feel very alienated and isolated from being able to reach out for that support. And you also feel like you might not necessarily be believed as far as what's going on. So it's definitely not a situation that I would wish on the other side. And I'm happy to be able to speak now from a position of strength and hopefully be able to help other people that are in similar situations have the strength and the courage to be able to come forward, knowing that they have access to resources and other people that have gone through the same thing and successfully gotten through the other side.
That's very well said.
You know, that is amazing, and that hits hard. You know, I myself am just recently a year out now. My divorce was just finalized a month ago.
Jeez.
And yeah, so it resonates.
A lot of bravery that goes into that goes unrecognized. And I know from my experience, ladies kind of hold back on kind of in public scenes like a podcast, not really talk about the bravery that goes behind that. But I'll say to both of you, congratulations for being brave and stepping up and kind of facing a fear that a lot of people overlooked that was present at that time. And I know there's a lot of women out there, even men, that are facing something similar.
Yeah, fortunately, we have some of us are a little bit stronger and more outspoken than some others. Myself, you know, there's still wounds that we're healing. You know, it's still a journey, and I know that even though I'm you know on my journey, there are many women and that are not. You know, and it's not just the women that suffer through this; it's the children too in a lot of cases. So you know, I'm very grateful that you're doing this for all of us. So thank you.
Well, I'm personally sorry that you had a similar experience from one survivor to another. It's absolutely, as I said, not something I would wish on anybody. But the positive is that I obviously know from connecting with so many women, you're a complete stranger. We literally met like 30 seconds ago. I know that what I'm doing is obviously important if it can resonate and touch so many people deeply. And that points to the fact that this is a very real and very prevalent issue still affecting society. So we do need to bring awareness to it if we want to stomp this kind of nonsense out, because it's 2026. I mean, I can't speak to the statistics in the States where you folks are located, but in Canada, it's alarming. It's something like 50%, literally half of the female population in Canada has suffered intimate partner violence. That's unacceptable. And the statistics are getting worse. They're not getting better. So this is why I felt so strongly about taking, you know, music, which is already an amazing universal language to be able to reach people and connect with them, and trying to do some social goodness in the world and spread love and support and be able to let other women know, you know, that they can step forward and get the resources and the support that they need, and they can get to the other side of this. It's not ever a commentary on whether or not somebody's strong. I mean, some of the situations that you're in are frankly scary. You can be the strongest woman going, but if you're fearing for your life or for your children, it doesn't matter. Yes,
exactly. A lot of us have children.
The strength equation goes out of the equation in that kind of circumstance, right? So I don't think it's ever a judgment call on anyone. I think everyone's circumstances are different. You've got whatever you've got available, but knowing that other people are out there to be able to help you, knowing that there's resources available, knowing that other women have gone through these things, I think makes a huge difference. So even just telling your story can change somebody's life.
That is absolute truth and facts, you know, which is one of the main reasons why I do what I do. You know, I love hearing the stories and taking part and participating and telling those stories so that everybody gets a chance to hear them. It's an amazing thing, you know. And speaking of stories, you've said that conversations with other women musicians repeatedly uncovered stories of discrimination on stage and domestic abuse behind closed doors. Was there one particular conversation or moment when you knew you had to do something?
If you're an artist or in a band that could use some extra exposure, look no further than Underground Nation magazine. They have everything you need to get some extra eyes on your project. Get started on your custom marketing campaign, spanning web, social, and print today. Visit underground-nation.com. That's underground-nation.com for more info. Underground Nation, the #1 trusted source for underground music news.
Oh my God. I mean, again, like the prevalence itself, I don't have to go far to be able to find someone.
Sadly. That is sad. It is very sad.
Yeah, I think that's just the reality. It's like, it's not like it was just, one person here or there randomly. It's basically all of my close girlfriends have one story. Some are absolutely insane. Some might be more mild in the ranks of insanity. But again, like, it's just, I've heard horrible stories about girlfriends of mine that are close peers in the music industry being left basically paralyzed in airports by themselves after, undergoing a crazy abusive situation. I've heard stories about people having all of their finances taken from them and being left penniless with nothing and no way to support themselves. Like the whole gamut: physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological, financial, sexual. There's no shortage of stories out there. And the thing about being a female musician too, I mean, then there's that double-edged sword where, in addition to maybe dealing with this kind of stuff behind closed doors, you also still deal with it in a public way, because I hate to say it, like, yes, it's 2026 and female rock musicians, I mean, we've been doing this for quite some time. We got Joan Jett, we got Pat Benatar, we got the Heart Women. Like, we've got this amazing legacy of all these incredibly talented, kick-ass, badass women rockers out there. But that doesn't... Yeah, that doesn't stop the reality that still, in this day and age, I'll go to a gig and I'll have a sound guy question whether or not I know how to use my amplifier. And I'm like, come on.
I know, right?
So then you're facing it both in like a public and a private domain. And you're like, really, can we not be past this? And this is going to sound maybe ironic, but I don't blame men. I'm not a man hater. I have men in my band. Let me be clear. I'm not somebody who identifies as a femme-Nazi, for lack of better words. I love men. I love women. I love all of us. I think we all have the Constitution to be incredible and to be kind to people. But I think there are major, major issues as far as how we socialize men and women and how they communicate and how we're taught to interact with each other. And I'm not saying that's the heart of all of it. Obviously, there are people out there that have serious psychological and mental difficulties that cause them to act inappropriately and behave inappropriately, and they need help. And that's no judgment call on them, but they absolutely seriously need counseling and help and any resources that they can get. But then another part of it comes down to the fact that we really don't socialize men and women to have healthy interactions with each other. We raise men very traditionally to bottle all those emotions up. And so then they have pent up rage and they don't have healthy ways of expressing it. And we also, at the same time, teach women that to be ladylike or to be feminine is to be submissive and accommodating and not express your needs or expectations. So we're actually raising both members of society to fail when it comes to communicating effectively and being respectful and being able to be mature and get along, as opposed to just saying, hey, don't we all want the same thing, which is to be happy and to love each other and like be positive and respectful, as opposed to having self-destructive tendencies that really aren't benefiting either? Right. Just saying.
No, I agree.
No, that's what I want.
I totally agree. I think that society has failed in passing down what actual love means. You can love without conditions. You don't have to have stipulations. There doesn't have to be a sexual obligation or innuendo or a price tag to genuinely love somebody and care about somebody as a human being.
Right. And love also means that your needs should be met and respected, and you shouldn't be taught to bend over backwards and be a doormat. And equally, love means that you should be able to healthily communicate with your partner in a respectful fashion if some sort of conflict comes up or if there's some sort of disagreement, and you can find compromise and you can meet halfway, as opposed to a man bottling everything up and then having a rage and a woman feeling like she's never being heard. There is a middle way, everybody. Come on, we can do better than this.
Communication.
It's always that middle ground, which leads to the name Warrior Women, which immediately communicates strength and resilience. How did you arrive at that name, and what does being a warrior personally mean to you?
And that's the thing. So for me, being a warrior is not about fighting or aggression. It's actually about having inner strength and being able to come together and find what you would consider your battalion, so your people, and having community and being able to connect with people, right? Being somebody who has a strong presence, but in a powerful way to do good on society, as opposed to being fighting and aggressive and aggressive, right? And so, yes, it is about being strong, but it's about being strong in a way of social goodness and love. There's a huge difference between being strong from that perspective as opposed to being strong from a darker stance, right?
Yes,
Right.
a very positive outspeak on it. It really is. You've courageously acknowledged that domestic abuse is part of your own story without sharing anything that you would prefer to keep private, of course. How did that experience influence the mission and emotional foundation of this tour?
So what had happened actually, so prior to even booking the tour, I decided this year, so last fall, my band went into the studio to record our very first, this is actually really exciting, it's our very first proper band EP, because when the band was originally formed, it took a very bizarre trajectory to end up where it is now. It started out originally supposed to be just like the backing project for my solo endeavors, but then I rediscovered my absolute love of distortion and it took on a direction of its own. And I would say the first official Truth Untold song was Not My Time, which was released in 2022. And so last year was the first time as a band, the four of us actually got into the studio and all recorded our respective parts, because prior to that, I was doing half of it and I had a partner that was doing the other half. So this was the first time we kind of came together. And
Nice.
the flagship song, yeah, so it's definitely kind of a rebirth of the band and a rebirth of my own musical journey simultaneously.
Very cool, yeah.
And so the flagship song that we are releasing in conjunction with the Warrior Women concert series, we decided on the single first and then thought, you know what, this just makes sense to all make it tie in together. It's called Shatterproof. And the inspiration behind that song was the fact that I lived in this really horrible place with some very horrible people. And I was talking to my best friend about that. And we were talking about trauma and therapy. And I have no problem admitting that I've gone through therapy and I've done a lot of inner work. And I recommend it to everybody, frankly, even if you think you're fully functioning from a psychological perspective, there's always amazing insights and introspection you can learn about yourself so that you can be better for yourself as well as for other people, as a sidebar. But I was having this conversation with my best friend, and she's like, if the walls in that place could talk, they're so full of so much trauma and memories, and they've just kind of absorbed. It's in the walls, it's in the carpets, it's in the curtains, everything that you've gone through. That residence that you were living at, it has all of that in its bones at this point. I'm like, you know what? That's such a beautiful concept for a song. It's very dark, but it's a very, very real, authentic concept for a song. So the lyrics to the song start out, if walls could talk, they'd tell you a tale. And then I go on and I go through all the different senses and I talk about living in that place and the experiences that I had. And essentially what the song being entitled Shatterproof, it's about, irrespective of all those horrible things that had happened, I remain shatterproof from it. So wanting to use that as the flagship mission behind the concert series, in addition to releasing this as a single, we're working on a very powerful music video concept where I managed to wrangle 9 of my closest girlfriends, and each one of them is going to be depicted. I don't know if you guys are familiar with in the box photography, but it's a really cool trend right now where it looks like you're inside of kind of a shelf. And so we've got a series of boxes, and each one of the women is depicting a different aspect of being in an abusive relationship. And then at the end of it, pardon my language, but I smashed the shit out of that motherfucking box with a sledgehammer.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Smash that bitch.
I can't wait to see this. Hold on.
Yes, and we cannot wait to release it. And so it was such a beautiful tie-in, thinking about the single, thinking about the direction we want to go with the band, and being unabashedly a strong female-fronted band and making no fucking apologies for that.
That's right.
Wow,
No apologies.
Fuck
Get
it.
that
Why do we need to
sledgehammer.
apologize?
Exactly.
Swing with all your might.
Especially as a Canadian, we're taught to apologize for everything.
I know. Like, you guys are so nice. Like it's like Americans are just fat, lazy, and rude, man. That's
Hey, leave
just,
me
you know,
alone.
Love
dude.
my American friends. No. I just the hugest difference that I sense between Canadians and Americans is that we have the same thoughts go through our minds, but Americans will tell you to your face. The Canadian will be like behind closed doors, but we think exactly the same thing.
Okay, well, at least it makes me feel better. See, I don't mind dropping a blush your heart. You know what the hell I'm thinking. Yeah, I'll look at you. Oh, bless your heart. You sweet baby.
But Rose, with everything you were just saying, when you were talking, I just envisioned how a woman could just look fearless underneath the stage lights on stage while privately struggling with fear, control, or abuse. During your own difficult periods, did music become a place where you could reclaim your identity and power?
There's this world beneath the surface, a place where raw talent lives, where voices go unheard until now. Welcome to Underground Nation, the home of the unheard, the stage for the next wave, the movement where artists, entrepreneurs, and creators rise from the shadows and take their place in the spotlight. Head over to underground-nation.com, download the app today, and step inside the experience. Dive into exclusive news articles, unfiltered reviews, powerful podcasts, and a full collection of magazine issues showcasing talent from across the globe. Discover your next favorite artist before the world catches on.
Yes and no, it was convoluted because some of the people that I worked with were contributing to the problem.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There was a. Oh, my. Okay, I think I just put two and two together.
Yeah, we'll leave it vaguely at that, but people will know what I mean by that. So yeah, it was complicated because in those moments, of course, for me, playing music and creating music is such a refuge. It's where I do feel powerful and I love being able to connect with people in a really real and authentic way. But my friends have definitely said that my light was dimmed for many years and they're happy to finally see my spirit back.
Really good.
Yeah.
That just hurts because it's a passion. Every musician I talk to, it's a passion of theirs just to be able to create music, which where it all starts is that love of it, and to have it to be tampered in a toxic manner, it's just really disappointing to hear someone would do that to someone, attacking their passion and their love of life, if you will.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking, suffice it to say. So as I said, I'm very, very thankful and grateful to be on the other side and to have so much support behind what I'm doing going forward as a musician. I mean, I was convinced for years that I would fail if, certain individuals weren't in my life anymore. This was kind of part of the manipulation and the gaslighting and whatnot that I went through.
That's hella gaslighting, because they definitely don't know what Underground Nation can do. We can blow Rose Cora Perry the freak up if you allow us. Back up, Mr. Man. You don't know what we can do. You're doing the hardest part. The music and making it sound good, that's the hardest part. Now all we got to do is put it out there in front of the people that want it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we do.
You're not wrong there, though, especially when you say that you've talked to so many of your personal friends, and you don't really have to go far to find a female or, even a male, but, a woman who's been through this. The 2024 Be the Change study found that 3 out of 5 women in music have experienced sexual harassment. Yes. Why does an industry that publicly celebrates powerful women still struggle to protect them while the cameras are turned off?
Right. So I think that's because of even the way, again, I hate to point to society, but I think it's even the way that we portray what being a powerful woman means. because I hate to say it, but one of the biggest beefs that I have in the music industry too is the fact that we purport women as being powerful with certain imagery, but then at the same time are very specific. You'll look at stats from bookings of festivals, for example, where there really can only be that one token female though. So yes, hey, we love strong women, but it can only be one. And it's no different when you're dealing with like booking agents or managers. They'll be like, oh, we've already got the female that we're representing. It's like, okay, you've got 10 dude bands.
Right.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Like, and it actually is that way. So at the same time as we're putting out this messaging saying, yeah, strong women, empowered women, that's so cool, that's so on brand, we're saying, but only a certain amount of them can get through and actually be promoted and purported. And that in itself is BS. So I'm absolutely all for women going out there, doing their thing, supporting them in any capacity that makes them feel empowered. It makes them feel feminine. It makes them feel good about themselves. And allows them to resonate and connect with other people as the artists they want to be. And there's absolutely room for every single one of us, irrespective if you're up there rocking and rolling or shaking your bum because you want to do pop and you want to do cute little dances. I mean, there's room for all of us. Do whatever feels right in your soul.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel that we are judged harshly. And you know what? It's not that. I will take this all the way back to our childhood. I'm sorry. I blame Barbie. I will be the first to blame the Barbie doll because that is what...
Ken, why did you have to leave her?
No, you look at the stereotypical Barbie doll. That is what we were told. That is what we were shown. That was perfect. That is what perfection was. A Barbie doll. A fucking Barbie doll. And how many little girls strived to be that perfect image, to be that perfect plastic piece. You know, how many of us are still stuck in that freaking mold?
Yeah, and so now you're touching on an even bigger thing when it comes to female socialization. So in addition to us being taught we have to be submissive and accommodating and all these things in order to be feminine, we also have to be fucking perfect.
Yes.
Okay? And not only do we feel those pressures in order to attract men, but we feel it from our fellow women. Because instead of women coming together, we're socialized to compete with each other. It's like, she can't be prettier than me. She can't have bigger boobs than me. She can't have a better voice than me, because then it makes you feel insecure. And it's like, we internalize all these horrible thoughts about ourselves, and it really affects women's psyche and self-esteem and disempowers them, when in fact we should be celebrating the beauty that we all naturally have. No one is perfect, but everybody absolutely has something beautiful and wonderful to contribute to this world. And we should be focusing on that and empowering everybody to find those things in themselves, hence therapy, instead of absorbing all this negativity and all these ideas of being competitive with each other and tearing each other down. Like, I've got no room for cattiness or drama in my life. I would rather go out and support my fellow females, my fellow men, anybody out there doing something that's in their soul. Do you know how much bravery in itself that takes to go out there and just be like, hey, this is what's my passion, this is my life? In itself, that should be celebrated. Who cares if you fail? Who cares if you're successful? If you're going out there and living authentically, that in itself is success.
Yes.
You're not wrong about that. And, you know, unfortunately, it's kind of just like touching back to what you said. There can only be one Barbie doll, though, in the industry. And unfortunately, the rest are skippers. Yep. Nobody wants skippers.
Skippers?
Well, I dye my hair black. I'm naturally blonde. That noise.
Barbie. Fuck Barbie.
Look at us being such rebellions over here. Rebels without a cause. Well, I guess we got a big cause. Hold on.
A big cause.
Big cause. Wait a minute. I mean, so to kind of hone in a bit, Rose, what forms of discrimination have you personally witnessed or experienced in the music business, and how much progress have you honestly seen since you first started touring?
I 100% have been sexually propositioned for different kind of deals, like management or booking or whatever. I'm like, yeah, how about no? No, I was raised to be a good Christian gal, and my morals are not for sale. Thank you very much. I've definitely had people question my prowess as far as, you know, my technical skill. And I'm like, I studied classical voice for 14 years. I have my grade 7 in music, my grade 2 in theory rudiments. I know how to sing. I'm well trained in that. I've had people absolutely question if I'm just there because I'm arm candy and I'm attractive to look at, and been accused of the fact that all of my success pertains to my beauty. I'm like, no, I just have really good genetics. I actually belong here. So it's been a variety of different things.
I woke up like this.
Pardon?
I woke up like this.
Yeah, I did. I think I have golden genes. I'm thankful for that, but it's not like, I mean, this is just me. So again, I don't want to be made to feel apologetic just because I'm a woman who plays rock and roll music. I don't think men go out there with that kind of mindset, and you shouldn't have to. So There's been a variety of different things that I've encountered, but as far as I'm concerned, it's all nonsense. And I just, in the words of one of my childhood heroes, I rock past it.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. You rock
Fucking
fucking
on
past
fire.
it. And that is another thing that I really want to touch on right there, because you said it. I fully believe that a lot of females, is specifically in this, we are all beautiful. We are all fucking beautiful, but some of the ones that are a little bit more blessed genetically than others, it's like we are automatically sexually objectified. We are objectified, and it's like that's not, where is the help for that? Many musicians are, like independent contractors, without a traditional human resources department or protected reporting process. Yeah. If a promoter, if a booker, a producer, or a fellow musician crosses a line, where can an independent woman safely turn?
Right. And that is exactly one of the problems. And I mean, I love the men in my band, but I will absolutely have no qualms in saying one of the reasons I like having men in my band is so that myself and my bass player, Jesse, are protected if there's any kind of shenanigans that happen at gigs. Because it does happen, still to this day. So
your own bodyguard.
I also carry mace. So if anybody, I will get it out of my purse. I have no problem. And I've maced myself by accident. So
She was practicing, turned out the wrong way.
Yes, we just have to make sure it works, okay? It was for research purposes.
It's research purposes.
Research
100%. 100%. But I mean, you touch on such a valid point. That is exactly it. There is no HR person that I can go to and file a formal complaint. What's worse is that if you are seen as somebody not acquiescing to inappropriate requests, you get labeled a bitch. Or you get labeled a slut, even if you didn't even.
You're a whore, no matter what. Yeah.
Correct. You're either a slut, or you're nuts, or you're a bitch, or you're hard to work with, or you're difficult, just because you didn't want to acquiesce to something that was completely inappropriate. And I mean, I get all kind of weird fan messages too. And at this point, it's just kind of a joke with my band. I'll send them screenshots of like, oh yeah, well yeah, that's really gonna work effectively with me. But at this point, as I said, it's just like, I don't have time for drama. I'm here doing what I love, which is what I believe my purpose in life, which is to spread a little bit of love in this world, share my passion, share the God-given talents that I have, and, do my rock and roll thing. And if somebody's got a problem with that, they can fuck off.
And I support
respectfully
that.
Fuck
100%. I support that. I would push it all away.
Thank you.
Speaking of your purpose, Warrior Women reaches Niagara Falls, Windsor, London, Toronto, Hamilton, and Sarnia.
Correct.
Why was a 6-city series important instead of holding one large benefit concert?
Every day, creative spirits pour their hearts into their craft, only to feel ignored. No support, no network, no real community. That's why the Boogieverse was created. A place where musicians, podcasters, artists, streamers, entrepreneurs, and creators connect, collaborate, and rise together. Stop chasing success alone. Join the Boogieverse Discord today, where creative spirits build each other up to greatness.
I'm sick of the excuses you try to minimize, all the damage and destruction that we see with our own eyes. We're taught to keep our mouths shut or live in fear of a reprise. I'm sick of the excuses, I don't buy into the lies. I used to believe you were good for me. Show me responsibility. Let's talk how you're helping me. Show me accountability. Let's talk. I'm sick of all the plot holes, easy to tear apart.
and that is a great question. And this is kind of a bit of a trial run because I have played a lot of concerts and I've booked a lot of shows throughout my life, and I'm very privileged to have been able to do so. But I've literally never done a fundraising series before. So this is a new experience, and we thought, hey, you know what? We'll try and pick a bunch of cities that are fairly decent hubs within Southwestern Ontario, see how it goes, and if it's successful this year, maybe we'll be back bigger and better next year. Not sure. Yeah.
Bigger and better. There's always a first time for everything. And, that's how the greatest shit happens, just a spur of the moment. Let's just fuck off and do it, Speaking, fucking off and doing it. You've brought together 24 female-fronted bands, 6 guest speakers, and 21 women-owned and operated businesses. How did you select the participants, and what did you want each one of them to add to the experience?
Yeah, that is an amazing question. So as far as the bands, a lot of them were already friends of mine, to be honest. I mean, I've been doing this for some time. And so I was really happy to be able just to reach out to people that I know and I love and I respect, people that have come to my birthday parties as well as, I've walked on stage.
Hey, girl.
Hey, want to join me for this crazy idea of this concert series that I'm planning? Like, yeah, that sounds freaking killer. So the bands was the easiest part by far. And then as far as thinking about the guest speakers, originally I actually had this idea. I was thinking about another industry in which women face similar barriers to entry or similar discrimination. I'm thinking athleticism, obviously.
Yeah,
love for female
obviously.
athletes. Yes, 100%. And so the first people that I got on board, there's an incredible award-winning championship coach for a women's basketball team in Windsor who's going to be one of our guest speakers. Then I got the Hamilton Women's Hockey League on board for Hamilton. So first I was thinking the athletic pole, and then I'm like, you know what though? Let's expand this reach. Let's not limit ourselves here. What else can I think? And I was just thinking about badass women in general who are out there doing their thing. And I was also really inspired by the fact that back when I was in university, I had some incredible female professors that were really inspiring. So I reached out to them. And then through my various touring and festival engagements I've done in the past, I happen to actually know a city councilor. And I'm like, I'll be interested. Why not? So it's just kind of been an assortment of different people from either my social circle or just doing research as far as who would be a good fit. And as I said, the response was overwhelming. And then in terms of the businesses,
amazing.
Yeah, I feel very, very fortunate that I've had, as I said, I've never done a fundraising endeavor, but from my stance, it wasn't like a gargantuan effort. I was actually having an incredibly positive response for most of the people that I reached out to. So I'm very, very thankful. And again, I think that the power behind what I'm doing and the fact that it's very relevant and very much resonating with people. And then as far as the businesses, I looked at every single city that we're going to target, and I looked at different industries where I thought that there would be a strong female presence, just started reaching out saying, hey, throwing this concert series, it's the first time, but this is my history as far as putting together events and whatnot. This is a sales pitch as far as, what you get as far as getting involved on different partnership levels. Do you want to take part? And again, the response I got was absolutely overwhelming. So I'm really, really thankful about that. And yeah, we get to promote, as I said, female athletes, female in positions of power in politics, female badass rock and roll musicians, and female business owners, and just all things about females out there kicking ass. And what could be better than
women rocking women, not just supporting women fucking rocking women. That's what it is, and it's so funny that you mentioned the athletic stuff, because when I was in high school, I was on the weightlifting team. All right. I was the only female weightlifting team. Yes. The only female on the weightlifting team. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Do you think I had special accommodations?
No.
You're in a locker room?
I got to use the staff bathroom.
Right.
Oh, man.
Right.
Yes, there was no special anything, which I wasn't trying to get it for special. I genuinely enjoyed lifting weights, but that doesn't mean that the discrimination wasn't there when it came to, everything else, like all the other guys. I was literally the only female, the only girl on the weightlifting team. And there was, 7 of us.
Amazing. Well,
so,
be part of the change. That's exactly it. So these little movements, I know that in my own neck of the woods, it might only be 6 concerts, but if this creates something that inspires more and people look to this and be like, wow, she accomplished that. Maybe I can do something in my own city. Maybe it causes other people to be more supportive of female endeavors, then I have made my mark and I've done exactly what I've set out to do. Not to mention raising funds for women that actually really do need that support and those resources right now.
Absolutely.
The Toronto lineup features your band, the Truth Untold, alongside Carmen Toth, Smoking in Bed, Neon Bloom, Rima, and Transformation Codes, Jeannie Crux. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
But what made this the right combination of voices and energy for Toronto?
Because it's awesome. Every single one of those bands is so cool in their own way. And it's actually like a fairly diverse bill, to be honest, because Carmen is a singer-songwriter. She's got sort of a pop vibe. And then Neon Bloom is really interesting, actually. They're kind of like an alternative pop rock band. And then Narima and Smoking in Bed are both more on the punk sort of sensibility. And then we tie that all in together with like an alternate rock, hard rock sort of approach. And so it's a really diverse bill, but we're all doing our own thing in a cool kind of way that complements each other. And then Gina is freaking phenomenal. I actually met her because she was the MC at a festival that we were aligned with earlier this year. And she is just so inspiring. Like, she's got a whole social media campaign going on where she's talking about just trying to inspire other people to find them their best selves, basically. Like, she's very, very much about empowerment for everybody. And I think that she's really going to be somebody who can get that crowd jazzed right up. And that's exactly what we want before we're launching into this series.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. That's right.
Come to Toronto.
I'd love to come to Toronto. I would love to.
Let's get that passport.
I'm trying to tell you, man. I need that passport. Need the passport. I might not want to leave. Yes. Out of all the organizations doing important work for survivors, why did Yellow Brick House become the organization you wanted warrior women to support?
And that's an amazing question. And obviously, it's impossible to say that one organization is more relevant or more helpful than another one. They each have their own place and they each have their own demographic that they're supporting. Honestly, for us, it came down to the fact that we're targeting 6 different cities. Even though London is my hometown, I did not want any of the cities to feel alienated and like they weren't being supported. Yellow Brick House, it's based in the GTA, but it actually has Ontario-wide services. So for me, because we're doing this across different cities, it made the most sense to be able to go with an organization that could help people irrespective of where they were located on Ontario versus just relegating it to one city specifically. So it came down to logistics, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Logistics and statistics. I know all about it. So beyond raising awareness, how will proceeds be generated for Yellow Brick House, and what measurable result would make you feel that this first Warrior Women series truly succeeded?
So I am really happy to report that as of April, which was several months ago, and the fact that the concert series doesn't even start till September, we already reached our fundraising goal. So
No way!
yeah, anything
What was
else
that
on
goal?
$5,000. Already did it. So
That is amazing.
thank you. And I've never done fundraising in my life, so I guess I did an okay job.
You did a fantastic job. Look what all you've orchestrated and put together. I mean, that you should be giving yourself a pat on the back. 2 fucking thumbs up. You've done an amazing job.
Now I know who to call to help us organize an event. Right?
I know.
How do we put this thing together?
The warriors, yes, the women warriors.
Come bully some people for me.
At your service. But yes, I'm really excited that we've already reached the fundraising goal. So at this point, anything on top of that is just gravy, which is fantastic. So people can obviously contribute to proceeds by buying tickets. And then we also have branded merchandise that we'll be selling only in person, only at the shows. So there's that as well.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. And then we have some giveaways coming up too. We've got some amazing partnerships. I can't announce those yet because I haven't done it formally on social media.
Oh, you already know I was gonna ask. I'm like, who is it? What you got for me?
Yeah, we've got some really cool partnerships for draws for things where people can contribute that way as well. But as I said, at this point, I'm already super, super proud and super excited that we reached the goal that we had planned out from we started this series at the beginning. So anything on top of it is just gravy, and it's fantastic. It's a good place to be going into the first time ever doing this in my life.
That is amazing. You have freaking done so much. You really have. So, I mean, benefit events can generate positivity, publicity, but after venue costs, promotion, travel, production, and other expenses, sometimes very little money reaches the intended organization. How are you structuring Warrior Women to ensure its impact is meaningful rather than merely symbolic?
Some artists wait to be discovered. Others step into the shadows and take their shot. Welcome to Mic Check Thursday, hosted by the host with the ghost, Bounceball Boogie. Every week, the boogeyman opens the gates,
searching for the realest voices in the underground. No industry politics, no fake hype, just raw talent and honest feedback. Think you've got a hot track? For just 99 coins, submit your song and get one guaranteed play live. Get reviewed by Bounceball Boogie and the full panel of creatures from the Boogieverse. And if your sound hits different, you might earn something most artists never get: a personal invitation to a spotlight interview on the official Underground Nation podcast. This isn't a contest. This is a gateway to exposure, to community, to your next level. Join us live for Mic Check Thursday. Bring your track, bring your courage, and step into the Boogieverse. The underground is watching. Are you ready to be heard?
And that is a great question. And I'm happy to say, with the exception of one venue, all of them were free for us, which is fantastic. And the one that actually had a rental fee, we got covered by a sponsor. So none of the fees regarding that is going anywhere. That is going straight to our charity. All of the bands as well have volunteered their time generously, and I have made a promise to them that if we exceed our fundraising goal, which we already have, I'm going to try my best to be able to give them some sort of honoraria to honor their time and their talents.
That's amazing.
Yep. So, as I said, I'm already damn proud. It's already technically a success.
Absolutely. That is incredible. The word empowerment is frequently used in advertising without creating lasting change. What safeguards are you putting in place so Warrior Women doesn't become performative branding and instead of produces real opportunities, resources, and relationships after the concerts end?
Well, I mean, I think it already has, right? I think it's already opened up a lot of public visibility to the fact that there are so many female-fronted bands out there in 6 cities. I mean, that was one of the things that I got challenged on when I first started to put this together. Somebody actually said to me, well, there aren't that many female-fronted bands. I'm like, actually, yeah. There are, and I had to turn away talent. So the fact that I've already gotten visibility, the fact that within a matter of 2 weeks, I got 100 businesses across Southwestern Ontario to be putting up posters to help promote the series. I already feel like it has made an impact. And then obviously getting in front of people, talking about the cause, having the guest speakers. I think that irrespective of what happens financially from this part out, we've already reached the goal. I'm super happy about that. And when I say $5,000, I mean, like, that's $5,000 for the charity. I have taken on the operating costs myself through my own record label because this is a mission that I wanted to do to bring some goodness into the world. So I'm not taking any money away from that. That is money specifically for the charity. And as far as making a lasting impression, at this point, I think anybody who shows up, they're gonna come away being like, A, number one, there's a hell of a lot of amazing female talent out there, and B, they were part of something really impactful that made a difference for this charity.
That is fucking amazing. That is so great that even that all 5,000, just taking a minute to very highlight that, make it clear. Every single dime is going to that charity. All of it.
Yep. And if we got more, even more goes to the charity. So that's not including any advanced ticket sales. Like, that's not including anything. That's just money I've raised already through sponsorship. So
that is fantastic. Fucking amen. If these 6 events prove that the model works, what comes next? Could Warrior Women expand across Canada? Could we, even go further into the US? Or become like an annual movement,
All things are possible. And I've actually already had some American friends, because as I said, we do tour the States actually fairly regularly. I've already had some American friends ask me about wanting to put on shows like this locally in their own city in the States and being able to partner with a charity. So all possibilities are on the table. Let me get this one out of the way though first. One at a time. I gotta perform too. I mean, I'm emceeing, I'm coordinating, I'm wrangling people, I'm performing.
But we're a woman.
Warrior woman right here.
Warrior woman.
We can do it.
Absolutely. I will probably sleep for like a solid month after all of this, but it's so going to be worth it. I honestly am. I think this is probably, and I've played some really freaking phenomenal shows, and I've opened for some amazing people, and I'm so thankful for that. But I think that this is easily one of the most important things I've ever done in my career.
Yes.
Wow. Remarkable. Rose, imagine there's a woman listening right now who feels isolated, controlled, or afraid. She may not feel strong enough to call herself a warrior as of yet. What advice would you give her, and what would you want the people who love her to understand about supporting her safely?
I would want the people that love her to understand that, number one, she can't be judged for her situation. And even if they feel that they've been there and they've been supportive and been able to be accessible for her as resources, she might not feel that way. And it has nothing to do with their lack of effort. It might just have to do with A, the level of manipulation, or just B, not feeling safe. So no judgment is kind of the easiest way to approach those kind of situations, because you really can't understand the psychological effects of being in those situations unless you've been in one directly. It really is. It's mind-boggling, and yeah, you start to doubt your own sense of reality. You truly do, because that is all part of it, and it's really, really challenging to be able to see outside of that perspective when you're stuck in it. So that would be the first thing. As far as advice for her, know that A, there are other people who have gone through the same thing. They have gotten to the other side. I know it's fucking scary as hell. I know it's horrible. I know you think about all the ramifications and the things that could happen, but there are resources out there for you, and all you need to do is take one step in the right direction. It might not be able to be today. It might not be able to be tomorrow, but know that there are people out there that want to help you get to the other side, and you can do it.
Absolutely. You can do it.
Yes.
Don't give up.
Never.
Incredible. Well, Rose, anything we forgot to promote? Any shout outs, thank yous? Please take this time to shine.
I feel like I 100% tore the lid off the F-bombs, and this whole
You popped the whole F-bomb bucket open. They leaked into us, too. They're just flying everywhere in this episode.
It was 100% my fault, and I'm so sorry.
Fuckity fuck bucket. It's fine. Just get it all out.
Is offending anybody. I'm a very passionate person. I'm Sicilian, and we're talking about women's empowerment, and we're talking about something that is deeply important to my heart for two reasons. Number one, about helping others, and number two, music, which is my life. So I apologize if I've offended anybody with the fucks, but yes, sometimes it merits that level of aggression.
Yeah, no apology.
I'm being so Canadian right now.
I know, quit being your Canadian is showing.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I'm not saying a boot, I'm just saying sorry, all right? I guess I would say if anybody wants to learn more about myself or my band is called The Truth Untold, thetruthuntold.ca, because I'm Canadian, or you can go to my official website, which is Cora Perry, like Joe Perry from Aerosmith.com. Always happy to connect with people and learn about their stories and connect with them musically and otherwise. And just hope to see you guys on the road and hope to see you at my concert series. And thank you guys so much for having me on this amazing show. And again, sorry for bringing out the fuck bomb.
All good, Rose. It's all good. And we thank you for trusting us with your story and for showing us that rock and roll can do more than shake a room. It can help rebuild lives. So everyone, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to Rose, Cora Perry, and The Truth Untold across all social media and streaming platforms. Listen to the music, support the movement, and learn more about the complete Warrior Women concert series.
Warrior Women Toronto takes over the Painted Lady, located at 218 Ossington Avenue in Toronto on Saturday, October 3rd. Doors open at 6:45 p.m. Admission is only $10, and the event is for ages 19 and older. The night features Rose, Cora Perry, and The Truth Untold, Carmen Toth, Smoking in Bed, Neon Bloom, Neramina, and Vibe Razor, and Transformation Coach Ginny Crux. Purchase your advance tickets, support Yellow Brick House, and help turn music into measurable change. Remember, guys, this all goes to charity.
If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you go right now to visit underground-nation.com to discover more incredible bands making noise underneath the surface. And if you're an artist, or if you have an event coming up with a story the world needs to hear, please send your information right now to ugnpodcast@gmail.com for an opportunity to appear on an upcoming episode.
This is where unheard voices become undeniable.
Underground Nation, where the underground doesn't stay buried. Thank you, Rose, Cora Perry.
Thank you guys for having me. This was freaking awesome.
You're awesome.
Likewise.
A huge thank you to Rose Cora Perry of The Truth Untold for spending this time with us and, more importantly, for trusting Underground Nation with her story. Warrior Women is more than a concert series. It's about bringing people together, giving survivors a voice, and proving that music can be used to create real change. Make sure you follow the Warrior Women series online and show your support. If you're able to donate, please do. If donating isn't possible right now, sharing the movement with someone else can still make a difference. And while you're there, search for Rose Cora Perry and The Truth Untold. Follow them across all social and streaming platforms. Add their music to your playlist and turn it up tonight. If you enjoyed this conversation, visit undergroundnation.com to discover more incredible bands making noise underneath the surface. If you're in a band or you have an amazing event coming up that deserves a brighter spotlight, send your information now to ugnpodcast@gmail.com for an opportunity to be featured. This is Underground Nation, where unheard voices rise, powerful stories live, and the underground refuses to stay buried.